cleanup spot, 260 on the year. Dylan Drake hits fifth at 350. Jackson Bassett out of the 6 hole with a 232 average. CJ Richmond hitting number 7 today, 276. It's Quincy Malbrough hitting number 8 for the Boilermakers with a 391 average, and Weston Boyle hits 9th, 273 on the season. Leadoff man Eli Anderson at the plate. 351, 19 runs driven in. Left-handed pitcher for the Wildcats will deliver high and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Anderson. There's the pitch. This ball is lined down the right field line. That will be in play. Anderson will take off towards second base. It will get all the way down in the corner, and Eli will scamper into second base with a leadoff double.
Well, that's a great start for the Boilermakers. Anderson's really been swinging it well over the last month or so. Has a long hitting streak going at Alexander Field, and now he's got a leadoff double here today in Evanston.
Man on second base for Aaron Manius, who's hitting 381 with 4 homers and 22 runs driven in.
Eli now with a 6-game hit streak in Big Ten play.
There's the delivery, swung through and missed. Jake Reifenberg is the starting pitcher. Reifenberg, a 6'2", 195-pound freshman left-hander from Downers Grove. A 1 count to Manius. No clue what the delay is here. Did that ball get a piece of the umpire or the catcher? I think it got the catcher. The umpire taking his time to let Jay Slater get a little bit of a break behind the plate. 0-1 count, nobody out, runner on second base. We're in the top of the first inning. Kyle Charters with Ben Turner here at Miller Park. Swing and a miss on a ball that drops low and outside. And the count is 0-2. Reifenberg is making only his second start of the season. 9 appearances in all. 2-2 with a 4.75 ERA. 30 and a third inning, 16 runs on 29 hits, 22 strikeouts, only 9 walks. Opponents are hitting .252 against him. Left-handed pitcher against the left-handed heavy lineup for the Boilermakers. Pulled foul. The count stays no balls and 2 strikes. Anderson leads off second base for the Boilermakers. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody on top of the first inning. There's Reifenberg with the delivery. Late swing. Watch out, GG. Dancing out of the way in the third base coaching box. Defensively for Northwestern, Logan DeGroot is in left field. Jack Lausch is in center, the former quarterback of the football team here. Jackson Freeman is in right. Owen McElpatrick is the third baseman. Ryan Kucherak is at short. Noah Ruiz is the second baseman. Nick Barron is at first. We mentioned Slater behind the plate. High end outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that's a called strike 3. Caught Manius with the fastball on the outside corner. And Aaron is retired. There's 1 away.
Yeah, and didn't get the productive out that Purdue was looking out for there at least from Manius. Too close to take on both those last 2 pitches, really. Got the benefit of the doubt on what was ball 2, I suppose, and then that one outside corner maybe caught him guessing a little bit there and was able to sneak the fastball in. Reifenberg's left-right split numbers are pretty even. So Purdue probably felt fine loading up the top half of the lineup with lefties like it's done for much of the season. You also, it's a case where those are the guys that got you here. So
the guy that got you here certainly is the man at the plate, Sam Flores, who's had an excellent season. 395, 8 homers and 38 runs driven in. He's been particularly good with runners in scoring position. Hitting .578. which just seems an absurd number in game number 33.
It's like Mariah Poehler's batting average for the softball team.
Here's the swing and a miss. Got him chasing after the breaking ball, and the count is 1-2 strikes now to Flores.
Well, as a left-handed hitter, Eli Anderson certainly got this game off to a good start with the double, but Flores and Mannius have not looked as comfortable against this lefty in their first 2 plate appearances.
1-2 strikes. There goes Anderson as the ball is low and outside, and Anderson just stays on the bag, almost slid through it at that ball was thrown very high down to third. McElfatrick had to leap into the air to keep it from going into left field, but Purdue trying to put the pressure on this Wildcat defense, and now Anderson is at third base.
Yeah, wide open lane to throw, and yet still Anderson in there safely. The more danger was would he slide off the bag. Slater's throw kind of sailed on him.
Fastball up, and the count now 3-2 strikes to Flores. Purdue looking to strike early. It just needs a hit somewhere the infield at normal depth for Northwestern with just 1 away.
13th stolen base of the season for Eli. Leads the team.
Here's the pitch. This ball is hit high into the air, plenty deep enough, and maybe back toward the wall. This one will be caught on the warning track. Anderson heads home, and the Boilermakers on the sacrifice fly by Flores lead 1-0. Flores certainly gave that baseball a ride, got to the deepest part of the ballpark. And 1-0 Boilermakers leading as more will come to the plate.
And even when he doesn't improve that batting average with runners in scoring position, still drives the run in. And give a lot of credit to Eli Anderson for creating that run. Leadoff double, caught the kind of pitcher napping for the stolen base at third. And that extra 90 feet was huge on a deep fly ball to center.
Pitch low and in, 1-0 strikes to Moore. 260 average, a home run, and 11 runs driven in. Here's the 1-0, grounded to the right side. That will eke through for a base hit. So Avery is aboard with 2 away. That'll bring Drake to the plate. Dylan hitting in the 5-hole today. 350 average, 4 homers and 22 runs driven in. Dylan's hit a little bit everywhere in the lineup, it seems, this season. 2nd, 5th, 8th, 7th. Been quite the mix, but with some of the injuries to the Boilermakers, a little bit more toward the middle of the order here recently. First pitch is a belt-high fastball for a strike, and the count is 0-1. Feels like he's been productive no matter where he has been in the order. Another lefty against the left-handed starter. And Moore dives back into first base just under the tag of the first baseman on the pickoff move. Ben Greenspan is in his 3rd season as the head coach of Northwestern, the disciple of Tracy Smith, coached with him at Michigan, Indiana, and Arizona State. Of course, played for the Hoosiers as well. Greenspan's team comes in with a record of 13-15-1, 5-7 in the Big Ten. Here is his lineup. McElfatrick hits 241 out of the leadoff spot. Freeman, the 2-hole hitter, with a 286. Kucherak hits 3rd, 310. Lausch, the cleanup man, with a 282 average. Ruiz hits number 5, 287. Barron hits 6th, 287 as well. Jack Council is the DH out of the 7-hole with a 269 average. Slater hits 8th, 238, and DeGroot in the 9-hole with a 259 average. Cole Van Assen, the starting pitcher for the Boilermakers. Van Assen into the wind. The first pitch catches the inside corner for a strike. And the count is 0-1. Van Assen, a 6'3", 205-pound junior right-hander from Tinley Park. How far away is Tinley Park?
Oh, it's south suburbs. It's down by I-80. So from here, it's a good 40 miles maybe.
1-1 strike. CBA with the delivery, grounded to the left side. The weird hop for Weston Boyle, who will throw on a bounce over to first in time. Nice play. That was a two-hopper over to first. McElfatrick thought he was safe, but I think he was pretty clearly out by a half step. And there's one away. He's pleading with his coach at first base to take a look, and the coach is like, nah, man, you're out. That was a heck of a play. I didn't think there was going to be anybody there, but Boyle was shifted into the hole, had to make a backhand on a ball on the artificial turf that took a little bit of an odd hop to him. So one away as Freeman will come to the plate, and he takes the first pitch for a strike. CVA is 3-2. None of the wins probably better than last week when he went 6 no-hit innings before giving up a hit in the 7th and coming out of the game. 4.46 ERA in his 8 starts, 42 and a third, 24 runs, 21 of those earned on 49 hits, 34 strikeouts against 12 walks. Opponents are hitting .283 against him. He's ahead here to Freeman, 0-2. Freeman's hitting .286, 7 homers and 13 runs driven in. Pulled foul toward the Boilermaker dugout. The count stays 0-2. CVA was sick going into the start last Friday night. You could tell he was wearing down. That pitch count got in the 80s. He started to look a little bit tired in the last inning or so and gave up the base hit to start off the 7th inning. This ball hit high into the air into left center field. Easily playable for Anderson. He'll make the catch. Malbrough in left field. Anderson in center. Moore is in right. Flores is the third baseman. Boyle at short. Drake at second. Richmond at first. Bissett is behind the plate. CVA, Ben, was really good in the second half of the Big Ten last year. It looks like he's rounding into the same type of form that we saw in last season.
Yeah, beginning with the first weekend of April and his start at Washington was when he really found his groove, put up great numbers during that stretch, and over his last 3 starts now, only 4 earned runs allowed in 18 innings pitched. Was masterful last weekend against the Illini, was great against Northwestern last year.
There's a bouncer that Flores has to back up on. Long throw over to first. It's high, and the runner will be safe. So Kucherak on first base. Probably an error here on the high throw by Flores.
Yeah, kind of an in-between hop that he had to hang back on, and it was a very long throw on top of it from behind the third base bag. And Northwestern will have a 2-out base runner. Still soft contact yet again, though, from Van Assen. Looking good here in the first inning. Against Northwestern last year, 7 shutout innings. Did not issue a walk. I think he had 6 strikeouts.
Jack Lausch will hit this ball into right field past the diving Richmond. Kucherak will go to third, and Northwestern has runners at the corners now with 2 away. After Lausch gets the base hit. So runners at the corners. Ruiz will come to the plate. Ruiz is hitting .287 with 5 homers and 24 runs driven in. Purdue leads 1-0, bottom of the first inning. Pitch in for a strike. Van Assen will throw a sinker in the upper 80s to 91, a 4-seam fastball along with a slider and a changeup. He's ahead here 0-1. Runners at the corners. CVA coming set. It's in for a strike. They did rule that a base hit, which is questionable. Low and outside. Bissett will think about throwing down to second, but he'll pocket the ball instead as the runner Lausch dives into the bag. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Ruiz. 2 runners on. Boilermakers leading 1-0. Northwestern threatening in the bottom half of the first inning. CVA will come set. Here's the delivery home, grounded back up the middle. This will be backhanded by Drake. Long throw over to first, not in time. Man, this has been almost unfair. It feels like nothing hit all that hard here against Van Assen, but Boyle was played deep in the hole at third base, and Drake had to try to come over to the shortstop side of second to field a soft grounder. And his throw was just late going into first. We're tied at 1 in the bottom of the first inning.
And Purdue was fortunate that 2 runs did not score on that play because Lausch, when he made it to third base, nobody was covering home because Bissett went over to first base to back up the play. And thankfully, Purdue kind of realized at first, or Lausch just decided it wasn't worth the 50-50 chance of being able to beat Bissett to the plate. But home plate was definitely unoccupied for a few seconds.
Runners at the corners. Here's the delivery. A fastball in for a strike to the left-handed bat of Barron. He's hitting .287, 5 homers, and 20 runs driven in. 1-1 game in the bottom of the first inning. Here's the 0-1, grounded softly once again. CVA is going to run this one to the base himself for the third out. Man, another soft grounder. Luckily for Purdue, this one bounced high enough in the air that Kolb was able to get to it and then run to first base himself to get the third out of the inning. A run on 3 hits, no errors, 2 left on base. We'll head to the second with the game tied at 1. You're listening to Boilermaker Baseball on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports app. Bissett, Richmond, and Malbrough will come to the plate for the Boilermakers in the top of the second inning. Game tied at 1.
Couple day games around the Big Ten today with Penn State and Ohio State starting early due to rain in the forecast tonight in Columbus. Washington, Minnesota, an afternoon game in the Twin Cities, actually playing a doubleheader today in Minneapolis. And Maryland, Indiana, also a 4 o'clock start out on the East Coast.
First pitch to Bissett is in for a strike. And Jackson's hitting .232 with a home run and 16 runs driven in.
Penn State has reeled off a 10-1 run against Ohio State after OSU went up early 5-0. It's now 10-6 Penn State.
This ball's hammered into center field. It'll take one hop in front of Lausch, the center fielder, and the leadoff man for the second consecutive inning is aboard for the Boilermakers and Jackson Bissett. The dimensions of the ballpark are not listed here at Miller Park. Probably a little bit short into the corners. A normal distance into center field. Gigantic new batter's eye out there in center. I think the whole outfield fence is new, isn't it? The wall?
No, they had that when Purdue was last year in 2024, but that batter's eye feels newer and bigger than before. And the softball stadium past right center is getting a renovation, just like its Death Star brethren past the right field foul pole.
That Death Star being the football stadium, of course. This ball popped up down the left field line, and that will get out of play. And
not the size of it necessarily, because it's only going to seat 35,000, we're told, but just something about it being half built that feels like the Death Star. When Purdue was here in 24, it was a wasteland as far as they had just started the demo on it, and it was wild looking.
0-2 count to Richmond with the runner on first base. CJ's hitting .276, 7 homers and 25 runs driven in. Called third strike. Purdue has been struck out 3 times, all 3 of them watching the pitch go by. David Condon is behind the plate calling balls and strikes. Frank Flugrat is the first base umpire. Donald Goller at second. Dominic Longbuco is at third. That's the crew for this weekend's games. 1 away as Malbrough will come to the plate. Malbrough's on a nice run here, filling in for the injuries in the outfield for the Boilermakers. .391. This is his fourth consecutive start now for Purdue?
Yes, going back to Saturday against Illinois, so 4th straight game. He had the 5 consecutive hits during the Illinois series. 4 of those were doubles.
Tipped into the catcher's glove, and an 0-2 count now to Quincy. Up and out with the fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The gray pinstripes today for the opener for the Boilermakers, with Purdue in black scripted across the front of those jerseys. Trimmed in gold. Swing and a miss. 2 away now as Boyle will come to the plate. Black numbers on the front and back, trimmed in gold. Black cleats, black hats for the Boilermakers. Boyle out of the 9-hole today, .273, 24 runs driven in. The pitch home as Boyle swings through and misses for a strike, and the count is 0-1. Northwestern, as it seems to like to do in every sport these days, tries to troll Purdue, it feels like, wearing those black and gold uniforms. This ball is lined down the left field line, deep into the corner. It is fair. Into the corner, headed around third base now and trying to come home is Bissett. Here comes the relay. Bissett is in at home, and he is out at home. That was a good job by the catcher, Slater, deking everyone into thinking that ball was not coming home. But Bissett thrown out on a good relay from deep in the corner.
Yeah, and we're going to ask for a review. I think he got in under the tag, to be honest with you. The first base umpire had to rotate around to cover home plate and make that call. He was in good position. There's no worries there, but just I feel like he slid in under the tag, which was applied pretty high on his body. We'll see how this goes, but you got to definitely challenge this. It's too close not to.
And it would be Boyle on second base with 2 away, too, if the call is overturned. So it's going to be a play at the plate in which the home plate umpire is going to review, which you don't see very often. As you said, with the rotation, the first base umpire. Nice execution by the umps. We'll see if they got the call right or not. But Boilermakers trying to get this run. That was a ball that landed almost directly on the line in the left field corner.
Ooh, man, that's close, but I think he's going to be out.
Yeah, if it's close, it's probably not going to be overturned. Yeah, it is very close.
And the tag was actually on the top of the thigh, so not as high up on the body as I thought. It looks like Bissett's heel is actually what hits home plate first. A lot of times that can be to the detriment of the sliding player. It's harder to get the foot down on the flat home plate quicker than it is the hand if maybe you dive in head first there. But I think you got to give credit to Slater, like you said. It was a true deke. I mean, I'm in a bad angle here where I can't see the left field line very well from our spot in the press box. And I couldn't tell by just looking at him whether the ball was going to be there or not. I had a feeling it was probably incoming, but...
Yeah, he was just standing straight up on home plate as if the ball was not going to come home, as if to make everyone, including perhaps Jackson Bissett, think that the ball was not coming home, and suddenly he had it and applied the tag.
I mean, that's one of those easier said than done deals, because I'm sure your heart is racing a mile a minute like, man, this is going to be close. And he does get the tag down. It looks like on the top of the thigh.
He's out. So after replay, C.J. Richmond drawing the Boilermakers to within a run with runners at second and third and one away.
Yeah, excellent piece of hitting by Richmond to hit that ball over the first baseman's head off the fence in right field after the line drive skipped down on the line and rolled all the way to the fence quickly. And if anything, maybe from a Purdue point of view, he hit that ball too hard. Bissett really no chance to score, at least without making it very, very close. And with only one out, you don't want to run into it now at the plate.
This ball is fouled back to the screen by Malbrough on a big cut, and the count is 0-1.
Boilermakers have not been shy about using safety squeezes as of late. Even with Bissett as a catcher, the runner at third, I'm a little bit surprised not to see it here.
The first baseman, Barron, is a few steps in on the fake grass. Here's the pitch, way outside. The count evens, 1 ball and 1 strike. With the number of pitches both of these guys have thrown so far, this game is going to be a bullpen game, assuming it stays close here. This ball is bunted out front. Here comes the play at the plate, sliding in, safe. Now safe at first. Here comes the play back at home. He's safe. 2-run score on the safety squeeze as the Boilermakers take the lead. What a play by Purdue.
Good bunt. Bissett got a good read on it. Easily in there at the plate, sliding in safely, and the pitcher, Reifenberg, was so mad at himself because he cut that throw off at home because he was laying basically in the left-handed batter's box and caught the ball, and Richmond able to slide in there safely. Wow, a 2-run squeeze bunt.
Crazy. And now here comes a visit to the mound. Ben Kaiser, the pitching coach for Northwestern, will come out to have a conversation with Reifenberg.
And you know what that is, Kyle? That's shades of what Purdue has done to this Northwestern team this decade, where they have just exposed them at times on stuff like that. Like, yeah, that was a little bit outside the ordinary, no doubt, but going for broke and making Northwestern make plays, the trip up here in 22 especially comes to mind, where they really, really put the pressure on Northwestern. And that time again, you know, making them execute something on the fly like that. And you could see how angry Reifenberg was at himself, not only for not getting it out at the plate, but then basically not even giving them a chance to be able to tag Richmond.
Yeah, I think Richmond probably would have been in there either way. It was just a weirdly slow developing play for Northwestern. I'm not sure how they didn't get Malbrough out at first. Well, the ball was not bunted particularly great. I mean, it was far enough from home to let Bissett come in, but just too much of a delay to get him out at first base.
And it was the second baseman covering.
Yeah. So 4-3, Boilermakers lead, 3 runs across. Slashed away foul by Boyle. The scoring is not correct yet on the board. There's no way it's a single and a sacrifice, right?
No. Can't have both.
Runner on first base in Malbrough. Man, credit to Quincy. Continues to make things happen, getting the playing time here with all the injuries in the outfield. Slashed away foul off the right side, and the count is 0-2 to Boyle. GG really talked up how Quincy has sort of handled, just getting sparingly played here through the first half of the season and stayed ready. Now he's getting his opportunity. There's a called strike 3 to Boyle. I forgot there was only 1 out through all that mess. There's just 2 outs now on the strikeout to Boyle, and Purdue will get back to the top of the order. So how should this be scored? It is a single and an RBI, right? And then just the run scored on the throw.
Yeah, I don't see how you can't call it a single. The pitcher wanted to flip home, realized he wasn't going to have a play, throws to first, and the runner beats it. Now they got Quincy hung up between first and second.
And that ball was down in the dirt. He heard bingo, bingo, bingo from GG, and unfortunately it was picked up cleanly by the catcher off the fake turf. And so he gets caught in the rundown for the third out of the inning. The Boilermakers, though, respond with 3 runs on what we will call 3 hits. No errors, nobody left on base. We will head to the bottom of the 4th inning. This has been an exciting one so far. Purdue leading 4-3. You're listening to Boilermaker Baseball on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports app. So what was that? That was 2, 3, 6. No, gosh dang it. They updated that scoring. So, rare instance. To the bottom of the 4th inning, Slater, DeGroot, and McElpatrick will come to the plate against Cole Van Assen. Back and forth we go in this contest. Here's CVA with the first pitch. Taking on the inner half for a strike, and the count is 0-1. A soft grounder out toward the shortstop. Boyle picks it up. He'll throw to first in time. They're thinking about challenging this. The base runner Slater wants it challenged. And first base coach doesn't know whether to agree or not, and they will give it a look. I think he was out live, but it was pretty close. We'll let you take a look over there, Ben. What do you got?
Stand by.
Either an out or the leadoff man is on. Another ground ball that was weakly hit in the middle of the infield. Boyle usually has pretty good timing on when to throw that ball over to first.
It's very, very close, but I think he's going to be out if he was called out on the field.
We have seen umpires this year tend to not want to overturn if they feel like it's close or close enough. Quick, very quick look here by the umpires, and he is out. You're 2 for 2 today. Solid work.
Just tell me like I see it. Helps when you can slow it down frame by frame.
That'll bring DeGroot to the plate. He grounded out to the shortstop in his first at-bat back in the 2nd inning. Van Assen with the delivery. Ground ball. This one will be stopped by Boyle. Long throw over to first, not in time. Boyle's going to need an ice bath between the 5th and 6th innings today. Another infield hit. Sheesh. Back to the top of the order. McElpatrick will come to the plate. He's 0 for 2 with 2 ground outs to the shortstop. Van Assen with the delivery home, taken just a bit low. 1 ball and no strikes. DeGroot leads off first base. A couple of steals this season. This ball is hit into the air into center field directly at Anderson. He'll make the catch. It'll wake up the outfielders who have done virtually nothing today. That's just the second ball into the outfield.
Third, isn't it?
Third.
Didn't Avery Moore make a catch in right field as well? There were 2 flyouts the first time through the lineup for CVA.
Oh, yes, you're right. Yep. So 2 away. Freeman will come to the plate. Freeman flew out to left field in his first at-bat, then singled to beat the shift in the third. Purdue still shifted pretty dramatically toward the pull side for the left-handed batter. Low and downside, 1 ball and no strikes. CVA taking his time, delivering the off-speed pitch for a strike. Count evens 1-1. Van Assen comes set and delivers way out in front for the swing and the miss as Freeman, and the count's 1 ball and 2 strikes. 4-3, Boilermakers leading in the bottom of the 4th inning. DeGroot leading off first. Here's the 1-2 line and caught. Hey, the shift worked that time. There you go. The percentages ultimately will favor the shift. And Drake dives into the hole there just to his left, playing in shallow right field to make the catch for the 3rd out. Well, the averages will balance. No runs, a hit, no errors, 1 left on base. After 4, Purdue leads 4-3. You're listening to Boilermaker Baseball on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports app. Top of the order in the top of the 5th inning for the Boilermakers, who lead 4-3 against Northwestern. Anderson 1-for-2 today. He led off the game with a double down the right field line and scored the first run for the Boilermakers. Anderson without the batting gloves. Watch as the first pitch. Breaking ball, stay high and inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Lefty the pitch. Fastball at the belt for a strike in the count. Evens 1-1 to Anderson. He was up when Malbrough was caught in the rundown last inning. Up and in, but swung on and missed by Anderson. And it counts 1 ball and 2 strikes. Anderson, Manius, and Flores coming to the plate. Lefty against the left-handed starter. A pitch lined foul. The count stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. The pitch back through the middle, picked up by the shortstop. He hustles to get the ball onto first in time. Good effort by Kucherak, the shortstop. He knew he had to hustle with Eli Anderson running. And there's one away in the top of the fifth inning. That'll bring Manius to the plate. He's 0 for 2. A strikeout and a flyout. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball for a strike, and the count is 0-1 to Manius. The same thing over again. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball. 0-2. Four 3 Boilermakers, top of the fifth inning. The pitch, swing and a miss. So Manius strikes out. There's 2 away as Flores will come to the plate. Flores 0 for 1 with a sacrifice and an RBI. Here's the pitch, hit solidly into right field. That'll be a base hit for Flores. So with 2 outs, Purdue has a base runner. And Moore will come to the plate. Moore's had a nice day, 2 for 2 today. Reifenberg looking in. Now he will come set. The pitch home is a fastball up. 1 ball and no strikes. The 1-0 is upstairs. 2 balls and no strikes. Eight hits now for the Boilermakers. And a 3-0 count to Moore. Drake on deck for the Boilermakers. Purdue leading 4-3 in the top of the fifth inning. Up and out for ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk issued to Moore. And runners will be at first and second as Drake steps in. Dillon's 0 for 2. He reached on a fielder's choice and scored. Last inning. Slater, the catcher, out to have a conversation with the starting pitcher for the Wildcats. Maybe you can, Ben, but I cannot see the bullpen for Northwestern.
Oh, yeah, no chance for me, sorry. They will eventually have a pitcher on the mound, we can tell you that.
We can see half of Purdue's bullpen.
That one I can help out more with. But based on what we know this year, Thomas Howard will probably be.
Yes, if they're in the lead, it'll be Howard. Tipped foul by Drake on a nice cut. The count is 0-1. 2 away and an 0-1 count to Drake. 2 runners on. Flores at second, Morris at first. The pitch swung through and missed. Not a good breaking ball to the left-handed batter. Reifenberg sends and delivers. Ground ball down toward first base. Scooped up there by Barron. He'll touch the bag for the third out. No runs a hit, no errors, 2 left on base. We'll head to the bottom of the fifth. Purdue leading 4-3. You're listening to Boilermaker Baseball on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports app. Kucharak in the bottom of the fifth inning for the Wildcats, Lausch and Ruiz. First pitch by CVA is swung through and missed by Kucharak, who has reached base a couple of times, once on an error, once on a base hit. He scored twice. 0-1 count. Here's CVA with the delivery. Ground ball foul. And count is 0-2. Here's the pitch popped up by Lausch, out of play. Lausch, the center fielder. Kucharak. Lausch is on deck. So Kucharak with the 0-2 still. There's Van Assen into the wide and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Tipped back into the glove of the catcher. Caught by Bissett. There's one away. Now that will bring Lausch to the plate.
Good spot for CVS first strikeout. 3-4-5 up in this inning for Northwestern.
Lausch reached a couple of times. He singled in the first inning, then was intentionally walked in the third. After he got ahead, 3 balls and no strikes. First pitch is a fastball for a strike. Lausch played on the football team a couple of years ago. He had 1,700 passing yards as the Wildcats starting quarterback, 9 total touchdowns. Low and in. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Feels like they always overachieve in football compared to what they could be or where they might be, especially when the stuff with Fitzgerald went down. It looked like, oh, man, they could be rough for a couple years, and yet there they are, still
plugging away.
Not an easy game for anybody ever.
Too far in, 2 balls and 1 strike to Lausch. Chop foul.
Sergio, nice play in the dugout. And tells the whole dugout, look at the
look at the showmanship. Kissing the baseball, waving the hat to the fans. We got to get that ball signed.
Yeah.
Low and outside. 3 balls and 2
You
strikes.
got a lot more personality in the dugout when Purdue's in the field right now because Ali Banks, Brandon Rogers are also in the dugout when they are not normally. At least they hadn't been for a long stretch there.
This ball's hit in the air off the left side. It will get out of play. Some sort of open mic night going on in the dugout. Count will stay 3 balls and 2 strikes. Oh, man, where'd that miss? Just a little low and in. No one agreed with that from the Purdue side of things. Van Assen took a couple of big steps off the mound. There was some chatter out of the dugout as well. So Lausch is aboard after the walk, and that'll bring Ruiz to the plate. He has 2 runs driven in on balls through the left side. Van Assen with the delivery. First pitch strike. And an 0-1 count. Purdue leads 4-3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Low and away. The next pitch by CVA will be number 70. One ball, 1 strike, 1 away. A runner on first base. Van Assen will throw that direction and chase Lausch back to the bag. 3 steals and 5 attempts for the center fielder. This ball is hit solidly, stopped by Boyle, on to second base, nice play, to first, double play. What an effort by Weston Boyle on a scorcher, a one-hopper in the hole. He's able to get it to second base, well turned by Dylan Drake for the 6-4-3 DP. No runs, no hits, no errors. We'll head to the top of the 6th inning. Boilermakers leading 4-3. You're listening to Purdue Baseball on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports app. Top of the 6th inning was set. Richmond and Malbrough will come to the plate for the Boilermakers, looking to extend their 4-3 lead. Set has had an active day with a base hit and a walk. He has scored a run, and he's been thrown out at the plate. He scored that run on the safety squeeze play. Lined into center field. Drifting over, though, is Lausch. He'll make the play. Solidly hit ball, but to the center fielder. 1 pitch and 1 away. And Richmond, who had a big base hit an inning ago, will come to the plate. RBI double. Holds up on a pitch high and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Breaking ball in for a strike. 1-1 to CJ. Just a bit below the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike. Malbrough on deck for the Boilermakers. Richmond doubled down the right field line in his last at-bat. There's Reifenberg with the delivery, low and outside. 3 balls and 1 strike to CJ. We have a new pitcher out there. Yep. Stand by. He looks the same as the starter. Alex Grant, a tall left-hander. The pitch is up and in to Richmond. He'll take the walk. Grant is a 6'4", 210-pound sophomore lefty from Avon, Connecticut. So runner on as Malbrough will come to the plate. Malbrough with the safety squeeze. This ball is hit back through the middle for a base hit. Richmond to second. Man, Quincy continues to hit the baseball and come through for the Boilermakers in big spots. Now runners at first and second and one away. His second hit of the game. These ones are only singles, though, not like last weekend.
Still helping the team, keeping the line moving. You're a tough grader.
Grant's 8th appearance. He did make one start, no decisions, a 6.10 ERA. This ball is hit into the air, into right field. Richmond will think about tagging. Here he comes. This throw comes into third base. Richmond will slide in, safe at third, just getting in under the tag. Nice aggressive base running by the Boilermakers on the fly out by Boyle into right field. Grant 10 and a third innings, 8 runs, 7 of those earned on 13 hits, 7 strikeouts, 5 walks. Opponents are hitting .295 against him. So 2 away, runners at the corners, and Anderson at the plate. First pitch is low to Anderson. 1 ball and no strikes. Purdue leads 4-3. There's the pitch home. The runner will go down to second base. Count evens on a ball that just catches the outside corner, but now runners at second and third with a 1-1 count to Anderson. There's Grant with the delivery, breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-2 now to Eli. Anderson doubled in his first at bat. He's 1 for 3 today with a run scored. There's the pitch, swung through by Anderson and missed. He's going to have to hustle here down to first, and he got him. Boy, I don't really understand why Slater looked to third to hold the runner back, but he still had enough time to throw out Anderson. Bottom of the 6th inning, bottom half of the order coming to the plate for Northwestern, Barron, Council, and Slater against CVA. The usual suspect is up and throwing in the bullpen now for the Boilermakers. That's Thomas Howard. Ground ball sharply hit, but at the second baseman, Drake. 1 pitch, 1 away.
And a new nickname was born, the usual suspect. We are in Skokie, Illinois. And I don't know if you recall, Kobayashi, the name of the mug, Barbershop Quartet, Skokie, Illinois.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, we're not in Skokie right now, but the hotel is in Skokie.
It's quite the connection there. Solid work.
I guess I've seen that movie many times, huh?
Council at the plate.
CVA 2 outs away from another quality start, would be his 3rd in a row.
0-1 count here. Tipped foul off the body. Got the left foot of Council. Oof. And Cal will be 0-2. I presume that Jack's dad's starting pitcher today did not complete the no-hitter that he was throwing through 6.
family affair. I don't know. You're the one that told me about it.
He was at 100 pitches in 6 innings, so I doubt it. Let's check. Since we have a moment. Well, the Cubs lost.
No. Usually you don't lose when you have a no-hitter.
Cubs got shut out as well, but the Pirates scored 2 runs on 3 hits.
Who pitched for the Pirates?
Imanaga got pulled with the no-hitter.
I'm sure that was a popular move.
Well, he was at a lot of pitches.
Yeah, no doubt.
He was at 100.
Did Skeens go for the Pirates?
No.
I don't think so. Right?
No, he's not pitching this series, I don't think.
Usually they don't need the other team to have stars on the mound to draw well at Wrigley.
Low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Counsell. Missing low and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
But, you know, every year that I know that we're going to Northwestern now, I check the Cubs' schedule. Are they home that weekend? Are we going to get another chance at that? This year it's IU that gets the chance to play at Wrigley.
Ground ball stopped by Flores. Down on the ground. He'll get up and throw on to first base. Not in time. Another infield base hit. Sheesh. Not much Sam could have done there. That ball was a screamer down the line. He dove to stop it. So Counsell is aboard with 1 away, and Slater will come to the plate. Slater is 0 for 2. .78 pitches now for CVA. (4-3) Boilermakers leading in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Foul tip and a big cut by Slater. The count is 0-1. The pitch in for a strike, and the count's 0-2. There's the 0-2 pitch. Good stop by Bassett. And it counts 1 ball and 2 strikes. Throw over to first base. Indiana and Maryland underway. Top of the 1st inning, no score in College Park. Michigan State about 15 minutes away from first pitch, as are UCLA and Rutgers. Into the air, into right center field. Long run here coming for Anderson. He'll get there.
Not the best angle he's ever taken on a ball hit out there, but he caught it all the same. Kind of a loud out to right center.
So 2 away as DeGroot will come to the plate. A lot of teams get ranked as GG comes out of the dugout. That might be it for CVA. A lot of people, like to rank teams by their quarterback rooms. Would you like to rank Big Ten teams by their center fielder rooms? I think Purdue's in pretty good shape there with Brandon Rogers and Eli Anderson manning center field.
Yeah, I would take the Boilermakers in the top third of the league. That's for sure on that front.
Pitching change. Thomas Howard will come in, so CVA won't quite get that quality start, but a good one nonetheless. 5 2/3 innings. He got snake bit a couple of times there early in this contest by just balls hit to open spaces. But he'll leave with Purdue in the lead with 2 away in the bottom of the 6th inning. So Thomas Howard in for the Boilermakers. Howard is a 6'4", 225-pound right-hander. A third-year sophomore from Lexington. Pitched previously at John A. Logan Community College. Howard's been solid, 4-0 in 14 appearances out of the pen with a save, a 2.45 ERA. In 29 1/3 innings pitched, he has allowed 10 runs, 8 of those earned on 26 hits, 15 walks, 15 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting .232 against him. He'll come in here with 2 away, and the 9-hole batter coming to the plate in DeGroot. So Van Assen's day is done. 5 2/3 innings, 3 runs, 2 of those earned on 7 hits. He struck out just 1 and walked a couple. But he leaves with the Boilermakers in position to get a victory. It's in the hands, however, of the bullpen. In the most ideal scenario, Howard will get Purdue out of the 6th, work the 7th, start the 8th, go as long as possible, and Purdue will bring in Jake Kramer from the bullpen to close it out. Long way to go, though, between then and now. We'll see Howard here to face DeGroot, who's 1-for-2. CVA threw 82 pitches today. This ball is hit into left field. It will drop in. CVA, that ball's dropped now by the left fielder. And so the runner will advance. I forgot that CVA is still responsible for that man at third base. That'll be a base hit and an error on Malborough. Second error today on Purdue. Puts runners at first and third. Back to the top of the order. McElpatrick today is 0-for-3. Throw over to first base, and that chases DeGroot back to the bag. We talked to Thomas Howard on This Week in Purdue Baseball. He has come in a variety of different ways for the Boilermakers. Seems like he always comes in with a closer's-like mentality, even though he doesn't close games. This feels like sort of save situation, however, here in the 6th inning for the Boilermakers with runners at the corners and 2 away. He starts out McElpatrick with a fastball on the inside, half for a strike. Howard with the delivery, low and away. 1-1. Howard with the fastball in the lower 90s to 94 with a cutter, a slider, and a changeup. Howard coming set and delivering, and this ball is hit into left field and will be caught by Malborough. Froze him for a moment, but then Quincy picked it up for the 3rd out of the inning. No runs, a couple of hits with an error. 2 left on base. We'll head to the 7th. Boilermakers leading 4-3. You're listening to Purdue Baseball on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports app. A lot of left-handers out there for Northwestern. We'll see many of them this weekend against the left-handed dominant lineup for the Boilermakers. Grant will work his second inning, top of the 7th. As Purdue will bring 2, 3, 4 to the plate. Manius, Flores, and Moore leading 4-3. Manius has had a rough day at the plate thus far. He's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Once swinging, once looking. He saw only 3 pitches his last time up. Here's Grant coming set and delivering. The first pitch is in for a strike. And the count is 0-1. Well, it was a memorable trip a couple of years ago to Wrigley Field. Purdue got the victory. That day it rained. It rained like
all day.
All day.
Yeah, I was worried that it just wasn't going to happen there, that the Cubs were going to be like, nah, it's not worth it. But, man, they were like, no, there's a window. You guys can play.
Yeah.
And
sure field dried up. It was fine.
Yeah.
It dried up. The field looked fine. Yeah, the ground screw up there. Which is Kiermaier's brother, right? A Purdue grad?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those things that was meant to be during that 11-game win streak in April when everything was clicking for Purdue.
That ball's hit into right field by Manius for a base hit. I can't remember what Kevin's brother's name is, but Purdue graduate who's the head groundskeeper there at Wrigley Field. Timeout here for a second. What do we got? Manius, what happened? He's limping around out there. That's not good.
Remember, he didn't play Tuesday against Bradley. He's had some injuries he's been fighting through and wants to stay in the lineup, certainly.
You can't lose another outfielder. I know he's the DH, but also a guy who plays in the outfield. So the leadoff man on for the Boilermakers. Low and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Flores is 1 for 2 with a sacrifice and an RBI. Purdue looking to extend its lead 4-3. Ball bounces in, swung on and missed by Flores, and the count evens 1-1. You know, it's fun at Wrigley walking around on the field, going underneath and seeing the bullpen that's now in the outfield.
Visitors dugout and the clubhouse area behind there as well. Got to see parts of the stadium that most general fans don't ever get to. You know, the press box as well, visiting radio booth.
Up and in, 2 balls and 1 strike to Flores.
Fun night. Loved the energy in the ballpark that day,
Oh, yeah.
as Purdue fans were still flying high coming off the Final Four and appearance in the national championship game. And, you know, there's so many Purdue alumni in the Chicagoland area. I suppose that was one part about the weather, was it maybe kept some people away because they weren't sure if it was going to, you know, don't want to go all the way into the city, especially the people in the suburbs that, or even West Lafayette, don't want to come up if it might get a chance to be rained out. But it really did turn into a great night.
Up and into Flores. He's able to hold up. And the count's now in his favor. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Sometimes it's hard to remember specific games for me. Like I'll remember series or, you know, certain road trips or stuff like that. But that is a game that will always stick out in my head specifically as one of my favorite nights to be associated with Purdue baseball.
Pitch low and in to Flores, and that'll put runners at first and second now with nobody out. Probably activity in the Wildcat bullpen, but we cannot see. And now a visit by the first baseman and now the pitching coach. And that might be Greenspan, actually. And they will make a change. I'll tell you about who it is in a moment. A right-hander coming in now for Northwestern. First time Purdue will get a look at a righty. Is that the sun? Shadows on the field. How about that? Exciting.
The shadows are exciting?
Yeah.
Or the sun, actually?
The sun making the shadows is exciting.
Looks like Purdue is going to pinch run for Manius as well. Zach Zykowski has a helmet on. Appears that he's going to go out there. And Manius appears to be favoring his lower back a little bit. That's not a good thing.
No, that's not. And, you know, you wouldn't usually take him out here because, A, he runs just fine typically if he's not hurt, but also, you know, we're only in the top of the 7th. He could come to the plate again in the 9th.
You know, Coach Goff mentioned 4 guys battling injuries in the pregame interview.
Yeah, I didn't know who that 4th guy was.
I think we know now who that he specifically was probably talking about.
Did you catch the number on the reliever? Shear?
30.
Garrett Shear is the new pitcher, 6'4", 220-pound junior right-hander from O'Fallon, Illinois. Eight appearances, all but one of those as a starter. He's 1-2 with a 6.75 ERA. 24 innings, he has allowed 18 runs on 23 hits, 20 strikeouts, 13 walks. Opponents are hitting .258 against him. He has walked 13 and hit 4. So he's had some control issues. He comes in here with runners at second and first. That's Zykowski now at second. Flores at first. Moore's had a nice day, 2 for 2 with a walk. Seems like it could be a sacrifice situation here. And now spin and look back towards second base with the throw there by Shearer. This ball is bunted back towards Shearer. Shearer should have thrown that ball to second. I don't know why he didn't, but he gets the runner at first base. Not great communication out there by Northwestern. He seemed intent just to go to first, so the sacrifice moves Zakowski into third and Flores to second. And Drake will come to the plate. Now the infield will come in. I'm surprised you would bring the infield in with this kind of shift on. What is the point of the shortstop standing directly behind the pitcher? Fastball high and outside. The shortstop is standing, 25 feet from the pitcher, directly behind him. Almost halfway between second base and the mound. Lots of space on the left side. Here's the 1-0, taken high and outside. How careful with Drake will Shearer be with the base open? 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the 2-0. Oh, big cut by Drake as he just tips the ball back to the screen. 2 balls and 1 strike. The Boilermakers looking to extend their lead. 4-3 now in the top of the 7th inning with runners at second and third and 1 away. Shearer coming set and delivering. Swing and a miss. And the count evens. 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's Shearer with the delivery. Popped in the air into left field. This ball's in foul territory and it will get out of play. That would have been one of those very interesting ones had it been playable for the left fielder DeGroot, whether he actually would have caught it or not. It would have been deep enough to score Zakowski from third base. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 runners on, infield in, and the shift on the pull side for the left-handed batting Dylan Drake. Here's Shearer with the delivery, swing and a miss. For the strikeout, caught him on the high heat. There's 2 away, and now Bissett will come to the plate. Well, Purdue would love a runner or 2 here.
Well, Bissett's got a couple base hits today.
He's hit the ball well today, even on his outs. He has, his last time up, laced one sort of into right center field. Taking a look at the right-hander for the first time. The first pitch is a breaking ball in for a strike and a 0-1 count. Two pitches in similar spots, and Bissett is behind 0-2. Zakowski on third base. Flores is at second. 0-2 to Bissett. Shearer coming set and delivering low. Good stop by Slater, the catcher. You gotta trust your catcher there if you're going to throw the ball down in the fake dirt. Shearer did. The count's 1 ball and 2 strikes. There's the pitch, fouled back by Bissett, who stays alive. 1-2.
Jackson, toughest to strike out on the team. More walks than strikeouts for Purdue. Really been an Iron Man for the Boilermakers as of late. Sergio's been starting the last couple midweek games, but it's been all Jackson Bissett behind the plate on the weekends.
Here's the 1-2 upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. C.J. Richmond on deck for the Boilermakers.
You know, with Cole Van Essen, the only Boilermaker still on the team since the 2024 season, nobody's really played here at Northwestern. Well, that's an exception for Bissett during his UIC days.
Tipped foul as he just gets a piece of the breaking ball. So he stays alive with a 2-2 count. Top of the 7th inning, Boilermakers leading 4-3, but threatening with 2 runners on. Breaking ball misses just off the plate. Northwestern thought it was a called strike 3. Minnie taking 2 steps toward the dugout. But after it was called ball 3, Bissett shook his head yes. They'll reset here once again on a 3-2 count. Got to protect now after you got that one. Sure with the 3-2. Tipped foul. Good job there. That ball was on the outside corner, and Bissett out in front just yanks it off to the left side. He'll stand back in once again. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Shearer out of the stretch. He'll come set. Here's the delivery. He went around. Got him as he couldn't check up his swing. Called by the home plate umpire for the 3rd out. No runs, a hit, no errors, 2 left on base. We'll head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Stretch, everyone. Purdue leading 4-3. You're listening to Boilermaker Baseball on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports app. Howard will face Freeman, Kucherak, and Lausch. Bottom of the 7th inning. Boilermakers leading 4-3. Kyle Charters with Ben Turner at Miller Park in Evanston. Howard got the Boilermakers out of a jam with a couple of runners on. Last inning, this one's fouled away. Will flare off the end of the bat by Freeman for a strike, and the count's 0-1. Freeman 1 for 3 today with a run scored. Lines into right field. That'll drop in for a base hit. Boy, that ball had some wicked spin on it off the handle of the bat by Freeman. So the tying run aboard for Northwestern.
Yeah, that looked like it was going to be a pop-up to second base when it left the bat. And it turned into a humpback line drive. Landed safely for a base hit into right center.
Well, what will be the plan for Ben Greenspan with the runner on and nobody out, with Kucherak, the 3-hole hitter, at the plate? First pitch is a breaking ball for a strike from Howard. There is activity in the bullpen. Trevor Kester Johnson is one, and the other is who, Ben? Do you know?
Stand by.
Popped up. Should be playable by Drake, who's near the line, and make the catch for the first out. Is it Trineri?
Graham Collin. And Jake Kramer will no doubt start throwing at some point as well if this score remains the same.
Lausch at the plate is singled and walked twice, once intentionally. Throw over to first base. Chases the runner back. Another throw over to first. Howard sets and delivers fastball up and out. 1 ball and no strikes. The pitch, check swing foul. Yeah, the count is 1-1.
Howard stole a strike on that. Might have been inside. If Lausch had been able to get the bat out of the way.
There's Howard coming set with a runner on first base. 1-1 count, the pitch. Into the air, into left field, deep. Back at the wall is Malbrough. He will have room and make the catch. Got to the warning track. Quincy played that right. He went all the way back to the wall with his back up against it and then came in to make the catch. Good fundamental baseball out there by the left fielder. He wanted to line up in case he had to jump and try to sneak it over the wall, but he had some room in front of him. Just a long fly out for Lausch. So 2 away, and Ruiz will come to the plate. Throw over to first base, and Freeman will dive back into the bag. Just 1 steal in 3 attempts this year. Only 14 steals total on the season for Northwestern, and 6 of them are from Kucherak. Fastball right at the belt for a strike. And an 0-1 count of Ruiz. A couple of RBI singles for him today. Multiple games now underway in the Big Ten. Indiana and Maryland in the first. Michigan State the same. UCLA, Rutgers, Nebraska, and Oregon. Popped up into right field. Coming over is Moore in foul territory. Will make the catch for the 3rd out. So the Boilermakers work around the leadoff single. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. We'll head to the 8th inning. Purdue leading 4-3. You're listening to Boilermaker Baseball on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports app.
continue the series against Purdue. The game is scheduled to start at 1 p.m. with doors opening an hour before.
Richmond will lead off the top of the 8th inning for the Boilermakers. 7, 8, 9 coming up for Purdue. Big swing and a miss for CJ. One and one. Fastball at the knees on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Richmond is retired. There's 1 away. That'll bring Malbrough to the plate. Malbrough with a couple of hits today, back through the middle. One of them a bunt that scored a run. Actually ended up scoring 2. Takes the first pitch up and in. 1 ball and no strikes. Then he singled back through the middle his last time up. Fastball up. Malbrough now hitting .423 on the season. Two balls and no strikes. Shearer with the delivery. Catches the inside corner. It's 2-1. Here's the 2-1 delivery off the plate. 3 balls and 1 strike. These two teams back at it again tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern time with the first pitch. That'll be the same time then on Sunday as well. Swing and a miss on the 3-1. Purdue next week returns home for a midweek game against Miami, then the 3-game series against Ohio State. Three balls, 2 strikes, 1 away, nobody on. Top of the 8th inning, Purdue up a run, the pitch up. And Malbrough will take the free pass. So he is aboard, and now Weston Boyle will come to the plate. Boyle's 1 for 3 with a double down the line. That ball way back in the second inning nearly scored Jackson Bissett from first, but he was thrown out at the plate. A great relay by the Wildcats. First pitch is a fastball in for a strike and an 0-1 count. Top of the 8th, Purdue up 4-3. Shearer taking his time. Now he'll deliver well off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Throw over to first. And Malbrough dives back in. There goes Malbrough as the ball is fouled back to the screen. So Quincy will go back to first. Upstairs to Boyle. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Back to the top of the order after Boyle. Eli Anderson standing on deck. Late swing, good protection by Boyle with 2 strikes. Who is in the hole? Who's standing on the top there?
Zykowski has the bat in his hands. If it's a right-hander on the mound, good chance you'll see Jimmy Dion, rather.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Tipped into the glove for the strikeout. No? Was it not 2-2?
Well, the catcher didn't hang on to it, so Boyle stays alive.
Yeah,
kind of similar to Bissett, getting just a piece with 2 strikes.
I thought he had it, but then he dropped it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Marlboro lead, 1 away. And a throw over to first base.
Being that it's a 1-run game, Purdue might have to be a little bit careful with not using too many players, because the bench is pretty thin currently.
There's the pitch. Oh, boy, that tipped off the bat and into the catcher's mask of Jay Slater. Whew.
Yeah, so much recoil on that foul ball. It bounced almost all the way back to the mound.
Yeah, the umpire's got to give him a little bit of time here. He's going to
Slater,
wipe off a perfectly clean plate.
Slater immediately said he was okay, but that's quite if it ricochets that far.
And everybody's ready except for the ump. He's going to get some baseballs, and everybody reset here. Let's give him a moment. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You have the most concern, I think, sometimes of every. You go back to the Rogers play. You're.
Yeah.
I was fearful for him.
Oh, I was. Ball popped off, foul into the building, an indoor facility off to our right. Count will stay 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, B-Raj has no fear out there, but I got enough fear for him. He doesn't need to be, maybe not run quite that hard into the wall. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's a called strike 3. Boyle thought perhaps it was in. And 2 away now on a couple of strikeouts around the walk. And Anderson will come to the plate. It is Zykowski out in the on-deck circle for the Boilermakers.
And now Sergio DiCello has a bat.
Up and out.
So should Eli reach here, we should see what Purdue does.
Sergio's maybe the one guy in a close game you'd like to keep on the bench because he can play a number of different spots.
And he's your backup catcher now.
Yeah. Anderson takes low and in. Quincy go here. 2-1. I think he goes, don't you? I don't think it's the end of the world then if you lead off the next inning with your leadoff man up. Trying to get that insurance run if you could get him on base. Does not go. Here's the 2-1 tipped foul. Two balls and 2 strikes. Shear coming set. Marlboro with the lead. Does not go. Here's the pitch. This ball's hit in the air, foul, and out of play. You surprised he's not going?
I suppose your case was a good one, why you would put him in motion, and Purdue often is the aggressor, especially when it has the lead.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Does not go once again as this ball's fouled off by Anderson. Count stays 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2, taken for called strike 3. He didn't like that. He thought it was outside. He'll shake his head going back to the dugout. But Shearer strikes out this side with the runner at first base. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Boilermakers leading 4-3. You're listening to Purdue Baseball on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue
2-3 through 3-4-5 after he gave up a leadoff single in the 7th. Would love to see a quick inning here for a couple reasons. One, it's harder to score runs when you don't have guys on base. And 2, if you could have the 9-hole hitter lead off the 9th, that would be ideal.
This ball's hit into the air, foul, and out of play. Yeah, no doubt. 1-2-3 here would leave DeGroot then leading off the bottom of the 9th inning out of the 9-hole. Here's the 0-1. Upstairs with the fastball. Jake Kramer is now throwing in the bullpen. Probably any sign of trouble, we might see him at any point.
Yeah, I could see it going either way, that Kramer comes in this game, or if Howard is able to stay on a roll, he could finish it.
Into the air, down the left field line. Malbrough makes the catch, tumbling over in foul territory. That was a nice play by the left fielder. He had a long way to go near the line as 2 other defenders were racing near him. And a lot of traffic out there in foul territory, and he was able to make the catch with Boyle and Flores there getting front row seats. So 1 away now as Counsell will come to the plate. First pitch is low and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. High strike at the belt. The count evens 1-1 to Counsell, who is 1 for 3. There's the 1-1 pitch. Late swing and a foul back into the netting. And the count's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fastball up, evens the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch by Howard, late swing and a miss. There's 2 away. That'll bring Slater to the plate. He is 0 for 3. Pitch by Howard is a bit low. 1 ball and no strikes. There's the delivery. Ground ball to the left side. Flores will wait for the hop. Sam will fire over to first. A 1-2-3. Very easy half inning for Thomas Howard. We'll head to the 9th inning. Purdue up 4-3. You're listening to Boilermaker Baseball on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports. After Aaron Manius left in the 7th inning, Zankowski hitting 133, a couple of hits in 15 at-bats with 4 runs driven in as he takes the pitch up and in. 1 ball and no strikes. Tried to quick pitch him here. So a warning issued by the umpire. One ball, no strikes. Up and in, 2 balls and no strikes. Shear's pitched 2 innings. He's thrown 44 pitches. And now he'll step off. And back on. Lined foul by Zankowski, and the count's 2 balls and 1 strike. Flores on deck, then more for the Boilermakers as 2-3-4 due up in this half inning. Purdue has left 9 runners on base today, including runners in each of the last 4 innings. Here's the 2-1, late swing and a miss. And the count evens 2 balls and 2 strikes to Zankowski. Lined into right center field. Will that drop in? No, it's going to be caught by the right fielder. Just hung up enough for Freeman to race over and make the catch. A long fly out. There's 1 away as Flores will come to the plate. Win bin is our last home run. Win and who?
Sam Flores, in fact, against Illinois. Leading off the 7th inning, if memory serves. Friday of that series. It's been a bit.
Perhaps we'll do. Flores will come to the plate, and he takes in 1 ball and no strikes.
Sometimes Alexander Field plays as a pitcher-friendly park, and the last 3 games, it definitely felt that way.
1 ball, no strikes to Flores. Did he go around? He did not, but the pitch is called on the outside corner to even the count 1-1.
You dig the long ball, huh?
Well, it would work here.
Would be his 40th RBI of the season, too. Why not get it on a home run?
It's the 1-1. This ball is hit down the line. Foul. Well, it's a short porch out there, and it slammed into the bottom of the wall, but in foul territory.
The bullpen got a great view of it.
Looked foul off the bat, unfortunately. In the bottom of the 9th inning, it will be DeGroot, McElfatrick, and Freeman. That's 9-1-2 coming to the plate against Kramer. Upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 is in the air into shallow left field. The shortstop has room as Kucherak will make the catch. So 2 away now as Moore will come to the plate. Moore has a couple of hits today. Here's Shearer with the delivery. Up and in. Did he go around? He did not. And it counts 1 ball and no strikes. The pitch, big swing and a miss. The count evens 1 ball and 1 strike. There's the 1-1, well off the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the 2-1. Low and in. 3 balls and 1 strike now to Moore. Drake on deck for the Boilermakers. Big cut. Oh, man. His facial expression after that tells you that he missed it. He liked that ball, a fastball on the inner half that he just could not quite get the barrel around on.
Yeah, oftentimes when a batter fouls it straight back, they were real close to zoning it up and lighting it up.
Here's the payoff pitch, fouled away. Three balls, 2 strikes. Drake on deck for the Boilermakers. Purdue leading 4-3 in the top of the 9th inning. There's Shearer coming set, and the 3-2. Fouled off once again.
Cutting and slashing. Good at bat, good battle. Avery has not been retired, at least not without a sacrifice bunt today.
He'll stand back in. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Defense playing him straight away. Here's the pitch upstairs for ball 4. So Moore, the insurance run, will take the walk.
He earned that one.
Typically might be a situation here where you'd see a pinch runner, but there's just nobody available. With Purdue's injury situation, low on outfielders, low on runners. So Drake will bat with Moore at first. Here's the pitch. This ball's hit high into the air into right field deep. Way back at the wall. It's up and gone! A 2-run home run by Dylan Drake and huge insurance runs in the top of the 9th inning.
Where there's that home run you were looking for. First pitch Drake sees. He barrels it up. Home run number 5 for the Purdue second baseman. That'll take the lead to 3.
Man, Drake's been excellent for Purdue offensively this year. Sort of consider him been like a lineup extender. You know what I mean? A guy who sort of unexpectedly hits for a little bit of power deeper down in the lineup. Now he's hitting 5th today because of some of the injuries, but certainly has been productive offensively, and now Purdue leads 6-3. I wonder if that changes the math here at all for Purdue. Thomas Howard went down to the bullpen as if he is definitely not coming in the game or staying in the game. So Bassett will come to the plate now for the Boilermakers. The first pitch is off the plate. What an at-bat that was by Avery Moore. Got himself on base. He fouled off, I think, 3 pitches in a row at 3-2. Sets himself up to get hit home on the homer by Drake. Shearer to Bassett. Well, he didn't think he went around. He looks back at the umpire in dismay that he called a strike. And count evens 1-1 now to Bassett. There's the pitch upstairs, 2-1. A lot of pitches here for Garrett Shearer. We can't see the Northwestern bullpen. The 11th hit of the game for the Boilermakers was a big one, giving Purdue a 6-3 lead in the top of the 9th inning. Here's the 2-1 fastball taken for a strike. It's 2-2. The pitch misses up and in. And being a catcher, Jackson Bassett has a good eye. That ball did not miss by much, but he has the count full now, 3-2. Richmond on deck for the Boilermakers. You know he'd love an opportunity against the right-hander who might be tiring Here's the 3-2 pitch, way outside. Another good at-bat by the Boilermakers. 3 in a row, the walk, the homer, then the well-earned walk. And with the runner on first base, Richmond will get that opportunity. Richmond is 1 for 3 today with a RBI double, and that will spell the end now for Shear. So nice that Purdue has also made Northwestern use another reliever in this game. At least I think they're going to go to the pen. He has thrown 67 pitches in only 2+ innings. It's a lot. 5 strikeouts, 3 walks. He's given up just 1 hit and 2 earned runs, and he's going to stay in. Wow. Purdue extends its lead after that home run by Drake. Now the walk to Bissett and Richmond at the plate. Shear coming set and delivering. Fouled off by Richmond to the left side. He got a good cut on that one, and the count is 0-1. The pitch, low and outside. Good eye by CJ. 1 ball and 1 strike. One count to Richmond. The pitch. CJ swings and misses. Ben, we have a developing situation in Piscataway. Rutgers leading 1-0 in the top of the 3rd.
Don't go to Jersey.
Quite a ways to go, though, against UCLA today. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Misses in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two count to Richmond. Shear with the delivery, bounced in. And now the count once again. It has been full to 3 of the last 4. The only guy who didn't see very many pitches was Drake. He took the first pitch over the wall, right? Was it the first pitch of his at bat?
It was definitely the first pitch.
Shear comes set. There goes the runner, and the pitch is high and outside. So another full count walk. And the Boilermakers have runners at first and second now with 2 away. I understand Northwestern not wanting to go back to the bullpen once again. But you've got a pitcher who is a reliever well over. Now, he started a bunch of games, right? Was that Shear?
Yes. And was in their weekend rotation, you would think, before they moved up Reifenberg.
2 runners on. Malbrough at the plate. It's a throw into second. Moore at second base. Excuse me. Bissett at second base. Richmond is at first. The first pitch to Malbrough is in for a strike. 0-1 count to Quincy. Grounded to the left side. That will squeak through. Trying to score from second base is Bissett. Here comes the throw home. This one will not be in time. And Bissett this time scores as the Boilermakers take a 7-3 lead. Now in the top of the 9th inning. As Malbrough, what a story it's been for The reserve outfielder for the Boilermakers coming through once again. What do you think Purdue's going to do here in the ninth now? Still go to Kramer?
If he was warmed up and Howard thought he was out of the game, likely. But, yeah, it's a query, that's for sure, that Purdue has to probably think about. You've seen Purdue use Kramer in non-save situations to close out games because all they care about is the wins.
Winning the game. Like, ultimately, and Gigi has said this, you want your best guy out there, and I totally get that. But your second best guy is pretty good, too, in Thomas Howard. A visit to the mound by the catcher, Northwestern. It feels to me like Northwestern is, in some respects here on the pitching mound, is wave the white flag here a little bit. I know they're going to try to score in the bottom half of the inning, clearly, but just trying to get this final out has been problematic. Lined into left center field. That will drop in for a base hit. Richmond will take the turn around third. He will come home and score. It's another run. And now 8-3. I think if you're Purdue, you certainly don't want to use Kramer now in the ninth inning. You're up by 5 runs. An RBI single by Boyle, at least to start the inning. Howard has not come out of the game, and somebody just took off the jacket. Who was that? And that's Josh Newman going down to the bullpen. Somebody just ripped off the big heavy jacket and will start warming up.
Well, it's Kramer standing on the mound flipping the baseball. I don't see anybody else.
There's somebody.
Yeah, well, Howard's got the ball again.
He's going to start warming back up. That ball was laced by Boyle. There is a timeout here offensively. I think they wanted to reset to figure out what to do in the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, that was more of a pitching timeout than it was offensive.
Yeah. There's another player just throwing now in the bullpen. And now here comes a visit to the mound. This is going to buy some time for Purdue to figure out what it wants to do in the bottom of the ninth. Is that Trineri maybe throwing?
He's got a sweatshirt on, but I think it's Graham Collin, who was warming up earlier in the game.
So a pitching change for Northwestern. Boilermakers have opened it up with 4 runs in the top of the ninth inning. So to the bullpen for Northwestern. Sam Michelle is the new pitcher, a 6'1", 215-pound freshman left-hander from Gainesville, Virginia. Fifth appearance of the year for Michelle. He has a 64.8 ERA. 1 2/3. He's given up 12 runs on 9 hits. A couple of walks and a strikeout. Opponents are hitting .643 against him. Northwestern has a pitcher who has gone 1 inning across 2 appearances. So he has gotten people out, yet the opponent is hitting 1,000 against him. How is that? Explain that to me.
Wow. I guess sacrifice
bunts and flies.
Yeah, it has to be. That's pretty damn unique. I mean, we saw the guy with Bradley with the 135 ERA, which I don't think I'd ever seen before. 5-digit ERA, and then he goes out and strikes out the side. And
that guy was much better a year ago.
I get it.
He was hurt.
I get it, but still.
This one, though, is the batting average against is 1,000, and he's pitched a full inning.
Yeah, had to be sack bunts and sack flies. Well, you know how you can get a higher batting average than on base percentage, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Got to be related to that somehow.
Lefty-lefty matchup here. Ground ball, foul. So Anderson back at the plate. He's the 9th batter of the inning. This could not have worked out much better for the Boilermakers with the 4 insurance runs, turning this nail-biter into a bit of a runaway. Still 3 outs to go for Purdue. I think if you're the Boilermakers, you don't want to let up too much here. This is a dangerous Northwestern team. Runners at the corners. There goes the runner from first to second. Northwestern not paying much attention to Boyle taking second base. See if they give him a steal there. 0-2 now to Anderson. Here's the pitch, lined into left field. The sun is a problem, and that ball will drop in. 2 more runs will score. The left fielder, DeGroot, had no idea where that baseball was. Looked for it, fought with the sun, thought for a moment he might locate. The sun has been behind the clouds for the entire afternoon and peeks through here in the top of the 9th inning, and DeGroot can't find it. And so 2 more runs score, 6 across in the inning now for the Boilermakers. It's a 2 RBI double by Anderson. And Purdue in business here in the opener of this series. Now Zykowski will bat for the 2nd time as he takes low and in. Breaking ball in for a strike. I think DeGroot has sunglasses with him. Do you know where they are now?
On his hat.
Still on his hat. Up and out to Zykowski, who led off the inning flying out to right field.
Are you the kind that bothers you when the sunglasses are on the hat? That's like sometimes I think that's like people that complain about free throw shooting.
Do you guys practice? You guys practice your free throws? Yes, we do.
No, we try to miss free throws. Just to annoy you, the basketball fan.
Well, I don't know that I'm annoyed by sunglasses on hats, but I would say that if you just missed a foul, a fly ball,
you have a good point there.
Maybe you'd put them on.
I'm with you. Yep, I'm with you.
Low and in. This ball will get away, but not far enough for the runner on second. Anderson to advance to third.
Maybe he's played enough games here at Miller Park that he knows at 5:45 on a Friday afternoon game, and it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to see that thing no matter what.
Upstairs, and another walk issued as Zykowski now will take first. How many walks is that in the inning? 1, 2, 3.
It's 8 consecutive batters reaching base safely with 2 outs, I think.
Yeah. It's a 1, 2, 3. I can't read my handwriting there. Just 4 walks, 8 in a row reaching. Flores will come to the plate and take low and outside. Michelle will deliver home off the plate, 2-0. Well, the man on deck got the rally started with a great at-bat. Remember that at-bat? 3 balls and 2 strikes. He fouled 3 balls off in a row before taking the walk, and that opened things up for the Boilermakers. Boy, and a walk that just changes the entire feel of this game. Breaking ball in for a strike. It's 2-1 now to Flores. Low and outside, 3-1. tell you, occasionally you see a guy make the first and third outs of an inning. You don't often see a guy make the second and third outs of an inning. That almost never happens.
Yeah.
And Flores here made the second out. Now he's got a 3-1. And he pulls it foul. So 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And yet another 6-run inning. That's kind of been Purdue's magic number on big innings in recent weeks.
10-3 lead for the Boilermakers in the top of the 9th. There's the pitch, too far in, so Flores will not see that come to fruition. Another walk, the 5th of the inning, and now the bases are loaded as Moore will come back to the plate. He started this thing off.
All with 2 outs, man. What a rally.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Every time you think you've seen it all from a big inning from a Greg Goff Purdue team, they come up with something new, it feels like.
Shot coming set. Here's the delivery. Oh, boy, that got the catcher. I think it was a foul ball. I don't know where that hit him. It ricocheted off the bat of Moore and got the inside of the right knee, I think, of the catcher. Slater, man, he's had a rough couple of innings back there. The trainer, Christian Mostrom, out of the dugout for Northwestern to have a look. Might have got right on the inside of his pad on the right knee. He shooed everyone away, including Greenspan. Did the run? They did not. Hold on a second. Did they call that a foul tip or not? They did not call that a foul tip?
Apparently not, because Zajkowski's at second.
Did they score? Hold on. They call that a balk? The official score has a balk in the. This ball hit in the air. They must have called a balk. I did not see that. Did you?
No.
So it's 11-3. Yeah, it was definitely a foul tip, but it must have been after the balk. So now an 0-1 count. Yeah, the count is 0-1 to Moore also. This ball's hit high in the air. Should be playable for the left fielder. DeCrute got a late jump, but he'll get there and make the catch for the 3rd out. The Boilermakers, however, get 7 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base.